Alrighty guys, just Sunstrider here. Welcome back to Planetside 2. It is another Saturday, and that means it is time for another episode of Sunstrider's Guide to Planetside 2. Now, last time we left off, we did the introduction and sort of character creation. So we got over, just setting up the character and getting through the tutorial. And now it's time to go into some of the basics of the game. And today we are going to go over the classes, one of the basic sort of building blocks of the game, and as we went over last part, these terminals here with the little floating gun icon are equipment terminals where you use to change your class. These cosmetics are just stuff that I've actually bought. Proof here is they don't have the little daybreak cash numbers down below because I've already unlocked these before. But as you can see, we have our 5 classes. No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we have our 6 classes here. And these classes may look similar to other games like Battlefield, where they have their different classes you could choose from there. It's kind of a similar design, but obviously they are different. Each class has their own class-defining abilities, as well as their sort of, main primary weapons, like main weapon group. And implants are down here. They'll probably go over those in their own video, because they deserve their own video themselves. So obviously I will just go through each class. I will go through, their basic tips and tricks. That's defining abilities and what I tend to personally use for the classes, and I'll just go in this order here. So first of all, we have our Infiltrator. The Infiltrators I don't have a lot of use with Infiltrators. I mean, I've used them once or twice before during my normal gameplay videos, but I don't have a lot of experience with them. So just, let that be known, because they are the Sniper Stealth class. If we just equip it here, you can see we have a sniper rifle. The Terran Republic start with semi-auto snipers, so there you go. They will not do one-shot headshots, and they will not do two-shot body shots. The Terran Republic and I think the Vonu Sovereignty are the two classes who start with semi-automatic rifles, as the New Conglomerate starts with a bolt-action rifle. And if you're wondering where I am right now, this is just the VR training grounds. Each faction has access to their own isolated training facility, where all weapons and cosmetics are free to try and test out. We have little shooting ranges here, and there's also a little bit of a field over there where you can practice using vehicles. See, we have Mozzie flying over there. But basic general uses of the Infiltrator is sniping. It's best to get, if you're really interested in sniping, I suggest you get your hands on a bolt-action rifle, because they do one-shot headshots. And of course, Infiltrator's main primary weapon is a sniper rifle, but they also have access to battle rifles, which are these. No, that's a sniper rifle. Give me a scout rifle. Fine. Scout rifles are they're mainly actually no. Battle rifles are coming in a future update. The scout rifles, which are pretty much semi-automatic or fully automatic, smaller sniper rifles. But battle rifles are planned for the next update of Planetside 2. Actually, no, what the fuck? What am I talking about? There are battle rifles, which are pretty much like mini sniper rifles. They do less damage, but you can fire them faster. And scout rifles, which are normally pretty much just 90% of the time fully automatic battle rifles, if I'm not mistaken. The scout rifle's automatic. No, the scout rifle's... Okay, sorry, I'm just really... Actually, what the fuck? It says... What? What? Boy, you got it wrong here. But anyway, Well, I'm dicking around. They have their primary weapons are sniper rifles, but they have access to battle rifles, scout rifles, and submachine guns, which is actually where their lethality comes in, because the infiltrators' class-defining ability, as one would expect, is a cloak ability. And each faction has their own Empire-specific cloaking sounds, if that makes any sense. Because, you know, this one just sounds normal. The VS sounds more alien and actually kind of sounds like somebody's farting, but that's just me. And the NC sounds, I can't remember, I don't know how exactly to describe that one. But, long story short, they are a stealth-based class, which is why you could probably tell that I do not like using them, because they're stealth-based. They are the weakest class of them all, because they actually have lower armor points than any other class in the game. So they are the squishiest, but they can also be the most lethal in the hands of a skilled player. Now, there are a few different kinds of cloaking. You have your basic hunter cloak, which acts like what you would expect, allows the user to go partially invisible, and the only reason to remain fully invisible is to crouch and stay still. As you can see, as I am running and standing still, there is a slight shimmer to my body and my rifle. That shimmer, if players are actually paying enough attention, they will actually be able to see your shimmer as you're moving, walking, or standing still, and they will be able to easily spot you. And like I said, the only way to remain perfectly invisible is to crouch, and even then you're not completely, totally invisible. And another good hard counter to the infiltrators is the dark light flashlight. Dark light flashlights will illuminate friendly and enemy cloaked infiltrators, and trust me, it really pisses them off when you do it to a friendly. I learned from experience. Yes, hello, I'm trying to record a video, please leave me alone. And and one thing that I would recommend to all new players, have one of your first, if not your very first unlock in the entire game, is to unlock the dark light flashlight on your default secondary weapon, because you'll be able to, as soon as you hear that cloaking sound, whip out your secondary, turn on your flashlight, and, you know, just look around, because you'll be amazed on where you will find enemy cloaked infiltrators, and you may be able to score yourself a free kill. So that is pretty much all for you know, at least the hunter cloaking. The nanite armor cloaking works pretty much like stalker cloaking, or not stalker, hunter cloaking, but it gives you passive armor when you're stealth, and I think it also reduces the shimmer. Nope. No, it just reduces small arms damage and gives you some extra shielding. So it pretty much can, it will pretty much give you a little bit boost of your survivability. So if you find yourself in a gunfight you can't win, you can pop your shield and run away. Give yourself a little bit extra survivability. And the last one is Stalker Cloaking, which is pretty interesting. Stalker Cloaking actually disables your primary weapon. As you can tell, primary weapon slot disabled. But Hunter Cloaking will not drain your stealth juice, as it's technically called, unless you're moving, right? So you see, you know, I'm moving, and I'm not moving, and it's recharging. And it's really good for ambushing, like, objective points, like, say somebody's trying to overload a shield generator, and then, you know, you're sitting in the corner, somebody tries to overload a shield generator, you pop out, you gun them down, and there you go. And these can also be dangerous as well, because there are these powerful revolver weapons that will kill, like, a normal infantry soldier in, like, 2 shots. There are these burst weapons, which will do significantly a lot of damage. And then there are flat-out fully automatic machine pistols, which will also tear enemies up close. And the T and the AMP is actually one of the TR's faction-specific pistols, which is fully automatic, as you can see. pretty much like a mini SMG, as people like to call it. You know, it's like a poor man's SMG, as people have come to nickname it. And the thing to note about sniper rifles, or bullet physics in general, all weapons have bullet drop and travel time. At least all, you know, normal weapons. So as you can see, I shoot, I try to aim directly at their head. I have to recock the gun. If I try to aim like, whoopsies. You hold down shift to hold your breath, by the way, while cloaked in or zoomed in like that, as you can tell. But I try to like aim at this person's head. It's actually a pretty straight shooting rifle, so that doesn't really matter. But okay, you know, like I try to aim too far above or whatever, but blah 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 blah. Bullet drop and bullet physics, pretty much, is what I'm trying to say. So be careful where you're aiming. You have to lead moving targets. You have to aim slightly above at extreme ranges. You know, and that goes for all guns, even on different factions. And even for vehicle weapons too, but vehicles will be for another video. That's pretty much the Infiltrator in a nutshell. If you really want to be sneaky and you really want to be a douchebag, get Stalker Cloaking, get a fully automatic pistol, and just ambush motherfuckers. Or if you think you got what it takes, because sniping in this game actually takes incredible skill. So yeah, just also, for sniper rifles, most of them have access to a straight pull bolt, which pretty much allows you to remain zoomed in and rechamber the next round. Let me show you. It's kind of self-explanatory, but you know, you see the little, you hear the little click click, and you see the scope kind of move around. Yeah. Pretty much that in a nutshell. So, you know, Infiltrator's pretty straightforward class, but they are a pain in the ass to deal with. If you watched any of my past Planetside 2 content, you will know I hate these guys with a burning passion. Anyway, moving on to the next class are the Light Assaults, and the Light Assaults is probably the most playful class to play, because they are the only class with a jetpack. The only class with a jetpack, so you pretty much have the most maneuverability out of any class to ever pretty much exist. And if I could get down without killing myself, the primary weapon, or the primary weapon group for Light Assaults are carbines, but they also have access to SMGs and I think shotguns? Yes, shotguns. SMGs and shotguns and carbines. But the thing is, funny thing is to note with Light Assaults, their cone of fire for carbines remains the same, or relatively the same, while jump jetting, when every other weapon like just gets completely screwed up. Reloading. As you can see between the pistols and carbines, while I'm jump jetting, it's pretty noticeable. And if I move to something, let's say a SMG, you can also see it's very, very different compared to carbines. That's a little thing to note there. It's pretty much to allow carbines to actually, you know, remain somewhat effective while jump jetting, because you want to make use of your high maneuverability, especially with some of the other jets. So the basic jet that I'm using right now is skirmisher jump jets. They provide basic forward and upward, or at least just upward thrust with high maneuverability. You can strafe across the battlefield and it'll pretty much just circle opponents. Like, you know, like you can come around like on the high ground. You know, say there's like a Sunstrider deployed like right down there. You can like jump up to the rooftop of this building and get like clear shots down below on them. I just suck at my jump jets, so there you go. There are quite a handful of different jets to choose from. There are 4 total. The, like I said, basic skirmisher. Icarus jump jets, as the name would suggest, just launches you straight up like a bottle rocket. Good for ascending things like towers biolabs and tech plants, which the bases will be explained in a separate video. and it's quite easy to kill yourself with. If you get high enough, boom, almost killed myself. Oh, right, yeah, this thing. We'll get to that later. After I'm done explaining the jets. Alright, dude. Anyway, those are Icarus jump jets. It's pretty simple, self-explanatory. They have their uses, they have their drawbacks, because you can barely move forward with these things. They do not provide a lot of forward momentum, so you can easily find yourself coming short of buildings if you don't judge your trajectory well. And the drifter jump jets, which is probably one of the more fun jets to use, provide quick forward momentum, but provide very little, if not like barely any upward momentum. You can see how long it takes me just to get up there. But they are the longest lasting and the fastest jets available. And they also recharge incredibly quickly, as you can see. You know, they are very fun for strafing around like hills and mountains and towers and like ambushing sunderers and stuff. And, you know, they're really well matched with shotguns, as you can imagine, just being able to roll up on like the sunderer, glow, and all that fun stuff. But speaking of playful jets, ambusher jump jets, these things are crazy. They fire you like an artillery shell, like in a parabola shape. Watch. That's not anticlimactic. Ahem. Please. There you go. Look at that. Just straight a burst of just forward momentum. These things are fucking fun, dude. I've played around with Light Assault and recording a lot, and it's just so much fun to just blast off and like land in front of a group and then just gun them all down with your element of surprise. Although it's very easy to kill yourself with these freaking jets. Very, very easy to kill yourself with those jets. But in much as a Light Assault, I'd recommend you stick to carbines when you first start playing, so you can take advantage of that cone of fire that the carbines have. No other weapons will have this cone of fire, like constant cone of fire. As you can tell by like shotguns, you know, the circle gets really wide and all that stuff. There you go. But that is pretty much Light Assault in a nutshell. Very fun class to use, very easy class to get into, take advantage of, especially if you're a new player. But say you don't want to, say you're not really confident in your shooting and killing ability. How about you go something like Combat Medic? Combat Medic is the king, or queen, depending on if your character is male or female, of the support universe. Like other medics, they can heal, but they can also revive dead shoulder. They can revive friendly teammates, as you can see.
Let me heal you.
This, like, normal fire, like left click heals, and then right click revives. Just very important things for you to know right there. But, yeah, the primary weapon of choice for the combat medics are assault rifles. They can also have access to battle rifles and scout rifles, as well as SMGs and shotguns. So very versatile class. Can be outfitted for close range or medium to long range. Close range? What the fuck? Sorry. You know, very versatile in their weapon systems. And, yeah, they're pretty much the king of support classes. Their class-defining ability is like a group heal thing. You know, you walk into a big group, you yell out "group hug," and then you just heal everybody around you. Or they have access to a shield recharging system thingy, which it's deployable. You throw it down and a big bubble pops up, and it pretty much just regenerates friendly shields of infantry. Maxes don't count. Maxes don't have shields, but Yeah, very versatile class. And it's all good in the hood. If you don't trust your shooting ability, go Combat Medic. And it's also a very, very, very good way of grinding certification points. And certification points is used to buy weapons, attachments, abilities, utility items, all that stuff. And another good support role is the Combat Engineer. Combat Engineers actually share the same weapon pools as the Combat Medic. Or not Combat Medic, Light Assault. So they have carbines and SMGs, and battle rifles, and all that shit. So anything you unlock, so any weapons you unlock for the Light Assault can also be used on your Engineer and vice versa. But the class-defining skills of the Engineer is that they actually have quite the toolkit. First of all, they have a turret. They have a deployable anti-infantry, and they can also unlock an anti-vehicle deployable turret. Deploys like that. Anti-infantry turrets have this little shield on the front. There you go. But anti-vehicle turrets do not. And it's pretty much just a giant machine gun turret. You can gun people down. And it does fairly decent damage, and it also has a cooldown charge, but it can also, you know, you can fire for a long while before overheating. So you can definitely hold down choke points with this thing. It is a very fun tool to use. And next on their list is a repair tool here. It looks similar to a medical tool, but it doesn't have that little side monitor, and it's black instead of white. And pretty much anything mechanical, anything mechanical like terminals, turrets, vehicles out there which don't want to run all the way out there, and max units, and generators, and all sorts of stuff, and pretty much anything mechanical that can be interacted with. This little nanite repair tool will be able to fix them up. Fix them up. They can also press F to...
I've got ammo for you here.
Drop ammo. Where ammo is automatically replenished. No interaction is needed. It restores one full magazine per tick. And that goes for secondaries, primaries, and rocket launchers, and oh fuck, I forgot to say, light assaults. Rocket rifle. Rocket rifle has the light assault's pretty much light assault's primary form of anti-vehicle duty, as you can see, like that. Primary fire, like left click, launches them one by one. But secondary fire fires them all at once in a big old volley like that, which only works at close range. Close range! Yes, close range, Bradford. Relax. But it only works at close range. And they also get replenished by the... Whoopsie daisy. They also get replenished by this little guy right here. Little ammo boxes. That's just about it for the Engineer. It's also a good way to get some certification points. Get some support role out here. All that fun stuff. That's pretty much Engineer in a nutshell. Last but not least, my favorite class, the Heavy Assault. Heavy Assaults focus on LMGs. They also have access to SMGs, battle rifles, scout rifles, shotguns, and SMGs. They're like a big old mix bag here. And also, they have access to heavy guns. Each faction has its Empire-specific heavy gun.
Take some ammunition.
The one for the TR is chain gun. The one for the NC is called the jackhammer, it's a shotgun. And the other one for the VS is called the Lasher, and it's like this big anti-infantry plasma ball shooting thing. It's hard to explain. It's alien technology. Because the TR get this gigantic ass freaking cannon with their heavy gun. And of course they focus primarily on LMGs.
Austin has been lost to the Vanu sovereignty.
Oh man, it feels bad, man. Anyway, their class-defining ability is a heavy shield. You know, you hit the F button by default. You can change that in the key bindings, and you light up like a fucking Christmas tree. But this Christmas tree can also save your life. There are a few different versions of the shield. The first one, the default one, is called the Nanite Mesh Generator, which is pretty much just completely blocks incoming damage. As you can see, it drains over time, but also as you take damage, it also soaks up the damage and drains. Then it also replenishes relatively quickly. And it pretty much just full-on blocks incoming damage before going into your shields and your health. So there you go. The next form of generator is the resist shield, which it mitigates damage, but it doesn't fully block it. You can even see it looks a little bit different. It doesn't look like full solid like the mesh generator, because it doesn't act fully like the mesh generator. This one only mitigates incoming damage, so some damage still goes into your shield and your health, but at least you're not taking as much damage. And lastly, the adrenaline shield. The adrenaline shield, it looks a little bit different as well. But the thing is, you can replenish your adrenaline shield by getting kills, as you can see. So you can literally stand here and just get enemy kills if an enemy would like to spawn. Nope, out of the way. There you go, it replenishes as you get kills. So as you get good in this game, you can easily keep up an adrenaline shield chain.
Reloading! Cover me!
And pretty much keep it up for indefinitely if you're good at shooting. But for new players, I suggest sticking to the Nanite Mesh Generator, as it completely prevents damage until the power is drained. This big old thing right here. And that's... Oh, right, yeah, right. The other defining feature of the heavy assault is this guy right here, this big old rocket launcher. There's actually multiple different rocket launchers, from dump fire to armor lock-on. So, you know, like dump fire and armor lock-on, or dump fire and air lock-on. Or, if you're really bad at dump firing like me, it also has... You can use the Annihilator, which locks onto both air and ground, but it does not like dump fire. And it's also flak activated, so you know it will detonate prematurely if it gets close. If it gets close to aircraft. And there is one specific Nanite Systems shotgun, this thing, the Mashumari, whatever the fuck it's called. It works quite awkward, to be honest. If you're not scoped in, if you're just going like this, it just fires everything all at once. Right, and then there's like 4 rockets per reload, and then if you're aiming, it fires all 4 in rapid succession, and they are also laser guided, as you saw there. So if there's like a sunderer right behind a rock, you can do this, and then you can like swirl them around to hit behind the rock. And they will auto-detonate after a while. And speaking of auto-detonating, where is it? The Striker is a TR-specific, like Empire-specific rocket launcher. And it's a single fire, right? So there you go, and it has a big magazine in the back. But it also auto-seeks aircraft, as you saw right there. And it is also flak activated like the other thing. So it will automatically turn into aircraft, and it can also, of course, damage enemy vehicles, or enemy ground vehicles like that. But I don't think it does as much damage to enemy the ground vehicles as it does to that stuff, considering that it is flak activated, so that would be reasonable. And actually the the NC specific rocket launcher is actually called the Phoenix, and it's like a full-on one rocket laser guided, or TV guided actually. So, like, the camera will follow the rocket and you can guide it with normal movement controls. And the Vanu-specific rocket launcher, well, rocket launcher, quote unquote, because it actually has a charge-up mechanic. So you hold down the fire button, it charges up, and then you can release a full volley, taking more ammunition, or charge on the battery, I guess, doing that as a plasma weapon, and but doing more damage. And then you can also like rapidly fire it and all that fancy stuff with the Vanu and their alien technology. That is pretty much heavy assaults in a nutshell. I personally prefer heavy assaults, and I just recently finished the Terran Republic LMG grind or directive, which those will be explained in their own separate video. But I haven't even, uploaded that yet. Anyway, I haven't gotten that far in my uploading, and that's on my main character anyway. Last but not least, we have the Max suit. It's pretty much like a juggernaut, but instead of one big gun, it has two guns on the arms. And these guys can be fitted out for anti-infantry, because it has access to anti-infantry guns, big cannons like that, anti-infantry, anti-ground, or anti-vehicle, with rockets like this, or the pounder grenade launchers. Oops. Pounder grenade launchers. Or burst or flat cannons. But the thing is, each faction has their specific max guns. And the Terran Republic, being the, crazy, rapidly firing maniacs that they are, have, like a chain gun-like weapons. The NC max units have shotgun-based max weapons. And the Vanu Sovereignty have plasma-based anti-infantry weapons. And even the anti-vehicle weapons differ from max to max as well. Because the TR have those crazy fracture things, which are like straight shooting rockets, or the grenade launchers, which you can arc. The NC Maxes have access to, I think it's called the Falcon? Something like that, where it's actually a single shot giant rocket launcher on each arm, or you can have double Ravens, which are these like laser guided rockets, so you can like fire them off and then like move your cursor and like curve them around a building or something. And the Vanu Sovereignty Maxes have access to these like plasma ball shooting rocket-ish kind of things that fire straight like the fractures instead of rockets that are like concentrated balls of plasma. Well, they have access to charge-based laser rifle things similar to the big rocket launcher I identified earlier. And unlike normal infantry, max units are technically robotic, so they need engineers to repair them, but they can still be revived by medics. So that's a weird cross there. They have access to a couple different abilities. They have extra storage canisters, which does exactly as they're called, emergency repair, which pretty much just automatically repairs health over time. And there are also Empire-specific abilities. The max one is a lockdown ability, which you fire faster, reload faster, and your bullets fly faster as well. The Vanu Sovereignty version trades in, that gives you more mobility, but it sacrifices, I think, health? Or is it you're just more vulnerable to damage? I think you take more damage, but move faster, and you reload faster as well. And the new Conglomerate Max has like a giant like energy riot shield. It'll like swing over and like just absorb damage for as long as it's up there. And it doesn't drain power over time like a heavy assault mesh generator would. It just stays there and it only loses energy if you take damage. And then after a little bit of not taking damage, it will begin to charge. Like after like a couple seconds of not taking damage, they'll start charging again. But considering that I'm on the Terran Republic, I can't actually show those, which is a shame. Now that's pretty much all the classes explained. There are class-wide utility items. This auxiliary shield pretty much increases shield health by 50. I recommend getting either medical kits or restoration kits so you don't have to rely on medics around you. Medical kits like give you an automatic burst of health, while restoration kits heal your health over time. I prefer using restro kits myself. That's just my personal preference. And some classes, namely I think Combat Medic, Light Assault, and Heavy Assault, all have access to C4 detonators, which is, well, they're giant bricks of C4. They do damage against max units and vehicles, and can also take down big volumes of infantry. I think the Infiltrator and the Heavy Assault, no, not the Heavy Assault, the Engineer have access to Claymores, which are pretty much just anti-infantry mines, as one would suggest. All factions have versions of these, but I think for the NC they are called Bouncing Betties, and the VS they are called Proximity Mines. They also have access, all factions have access to a similar version of a tank mine, which, I mean, they're anti-tank, and I think also they will detonate upon max units walking over them as well. Oh, Jesus Christ, physics. Oh, physics. Explosion, these mine explosions also have physics, which will knock you up and back, as witnessed there. And engineers also have access to hard light barriers. I need, thank you. Which is I believe, chest-high walls that will defend against oncoming bullets. I think they can take infantry damage, but I think they're immune to friendly fire. Or maybe that's, what the fuck? I think it's maybe just only explosive damage that deals damage to them, but whatever. Melee. All factions have access to this normal knife. There are like special nanite systems knives. Where is it? This thing. It's an interesting knife. You can equip knives by holding down the Z key by default, or you can also bind a different key to that. I like binding my melee, or at least my quick melee, to mouse scroll down. So if you see me react quickly to like an enemy popping up in my front, that's just me scrolling the mouse wheel down and quick knifing. I just find it good for me. I don't know. You can also hold it down using Z, but this thing is interesting because if you zoom in, it fires like fucking energy pulses at the enemy. They do shit for damage, but it's very hilarious watching that. Look at this! This is so stupid! It's so fucking stupid, but it's so fucking cool at the same time. And then all factions have access to a power knife, which moves slower, does less damage, but if you hit the B button by default, it turns, it like activates, and it turns into a one-hit melee. Melee is normally two-hit kill, where one hit takes down the shields and another hit takes down the health and kills the person. I think power knives do less upfront damage. Like, let me see. 1, 2. Nope, it still does 2. I think it's the crazy, like, long-range knife that does less upfront damage. I just run over here to this guy who's standing in the front. My test dummy here. Yeah, they do less damage. But it has access to a fucking long-range mode. That's really baffling to me. But grenades? In terms of grenades, or a few different types of grenades. Most classes have access to normal frag grenades. Concussion grenades, well, they're concussion grenades. Where'd that go? Grenades are really bouncy in this game, by the way. Concussion grenades just impair the enemy. Like all that stuff. Anti-vehicle grenades are for like heavy assault only, I believe. And they do damage. They do increased damage to vehicles and max units, but less damage to infantry. I think. Do you have access to anything different? Wait, what? Oh, quick detonation flash grenade. Flash grenades obviously blind enemies. I wasn't in range for that. Smoke grenades are available to most classes, which, I mean, it does what you expect it to. It creates a smoke screen. I'm pretty sure infiltrators have access to EMP grenades, which will, I mean, it will disable the electronics as so. They also have access to decoy grenades, which will pretty much, like, create fake radar signals. Yeah, it'll create fake weapon sounds, which will create fake radar blips. Which, once we get into actual live play, radar blips are pretty much just enemies firing their weapons that are in range of your radar. Combat medics are interesting. They have access to specialty grenades, healing grenades, and revive grenades. Man, those things are actually pretty cool. Healing grenades will create a nano regen field, pretty much similar to the area of effect heal medics have, and revive grenades will, I mean, it will swarm of rebirth nanites capable of reviving fallen allies to 50% health. You guys have access to repair grenades, which will repair anything mechanical, can stick to vehicles and max units, and a sticky grenade, which will, well, it sticks to shit. Like that, it won't go flying off like grenades do. Like, watch how fucking bouncy these things are. Look at that. Well, that wasn't a very good distinction. Here, let me bounce it up this hole here. Look at that! Look at that! That's not normal! I swear to God, all of these grenades have like rubber padding all over the sides of them. And it makes them bounce all over the gaff. And of course, max units can't equip anything like that. Melee, you can't really change that. Yeah, that's pretty much all of that stuff explained. Implants will be explained in a separate video. And that's pretty much all that really covers it for frickin' the classes. If you guys have any questions about the classes and the weapons and maybe the attachments, I could go over attachments, but I feel like that could be its own separate video later on. Hey, gentlemen, that's going to call it here for the day. I'm actually starting to lose my voice a little bit. God. That is the classes. Of course, any questions will be answered to the best of my ability in the comments below. Thank you all for watching. And I think next we come back, I'm going to be going over the vehicles. So all those vehicles out there will be explained. And thank you all for watching. I'm out. Peace.